Welcome back to Celebrity of Future. When we talk about bodybuilding legends, one name towers above the rest: Ronnie Coleman, known as the King. Coleman dominated the bodybuilding stage with a combination of freakish size, unbelievable strength, and a work ethic that bordered on superhuman. 8-time Mr. Olympia champion, record-setting lifts, and a physique that redefined the sport. Ronnie Coleman set a standard that many believe may never be matched. But here's the question: who will be the next Ronnie Coleman? Who has the genetics, the size, the strength, and most importantly, the relentless drive to follow in the footsteps of the greatest bodybuilder of all time? In this video, we're diving deep into the rising stars of bodybuilding, the athletes who could become the future legends, the ones carrying the torch of Ronnie's legacy. From today's Mr. Olympia contenders to young phenoms still carving their path, we'll explore who has the best shot at becoming bodybuilding's next king. Stick around, because by the end, you might just discover the future of this sport. Big Ramy, the mass monster successor. When fans think of someone who could carry Ronnie Coleman's torch, the name that instantly comes to mind is Mamdou Elsbiai, better known as Big Ramy. Standing at over 5 feet 9 inches and weighing upwards of 300 pounds in competition shape, Big Ramy embodies that mass monster image that Ronnie made famous. Like Coleman, Ramy's physique is jaw-dropping. The sheer muscle density, the roundness, and the unbelievable size make him look like he was carved out of granite. In 2020 and 2021, he became Mr. Olympia, proving that size still rules in bodybuilding when combined with conditioning. His nickname, Big Ramy, says it all. He's one of the largest competitors ever to grace the stage. But the real question is, does Big Ramy have the same dominance that Ronnie displayed? Ronnie wasn't just big, he was unbeatable for 8 straight years. Big Ramy has tasted glory, but inconsistency has plagued his career. Some years he shows up shredded and unbeatable, other years he misses the mark. If Ramy can lock in the discipline and conditioning year after year, he could stand as the truest successor to Ronnie's throne. Heath, the closest we've seen. If we're talking about dominance and legacy, then Heath deserves mention. Nicknamed The Gift, Phil won 7 Mr. Olympia titles, falling just one short of Ronnie's record. For years, Heath was the face of modern bodybuilding, blending insane muscle fullness with symmetry that Coleman didn't always prioritize. Now, Phil isn't the next Ronnie in terms of size or strength. He doesn't hit those legendary 800-pound squats or deadlifts. But what makes Phil a worthy comparison is his championship mentality. Like Ronnie, he believed he was untouchable, and for nearly a decade, he proved it. Some argue Phil was closer to Arnold Schwarzenegger in terms of shape and lines, rather than Ronnie's freak factor. Still, when it comes to carrying bodybuilding on his back in the 2010s, Heath was the one who kept Ronnie's legacy alive. If not for injuries and the rise of new stars, he might have tied Ronnie's record. Nick Walker, the mutant on the rise. When fans today talk about the next Ronnie Coleman, one name is shouted louder than most: Nick Walker, aka the mutant. Still in his late 20s, Nick has already become one of the most talked about bodybuilders in the world. His combination of freakish size, grainy conditioning, and work ethic makes people think of Coleman's rise in the 1990s. Nick Walker doesn't just train hard, he lives bodybuilding 24/7. His mentality reminds fans of Ronnie's famous phrase: "Everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but nobody wants to lift no heavy-ass weights." Walker embraces that grind. He squats heavy, he pushes insane numbers, and his physique shows it. His nickname, the Mutant, isn't just marketing. His muscle bellies, his insane vascularity, and his ability to pack on size while staying conditioned are almost unnatural. Walker hasn't yet hit Ronnie's legendary size, but he's still young. With a few more years of growth and refinement, he could shock the world in the same way Ronnie did in 1998 when he first dethroned Dorian Yates. Derek Lunsford, the genetic freak. Another massive contender for the next Ronnie title is Derek Lunsford. Derek made history by becoming the first ever bodybuilder to win the Olympia in both the 212 division and the open category. That alone shows his versatility and potential greatness. What sets Derek apart is his insane genetics. His muscle insertions, his symmetry, and his proportions make his physique look almost cartoonish, the same way Ronnie's did in his prime. Add to that his relentless drive, and you have the recipe for something legendary. When Ronnie won his first Olympia, no one expected him to dominate the way he did for the next 7 years. Derek gives off that same vibe. He's underestimated at times, but when he steps on stage, he leaves fans and judges stunned. If he keeps improving at this pace, Derek could become the next dominant force in bodybuilding. Hunter Labrada, the legacy factor bodybuilding is filled with father-son legacies, and Hunter Labrada, the son of bodybuilding icon Lee Labrada, is one of the brightest young stars in the game. Hunter brings a combination of old-school work ethic and modern muscle-building science to the stage. Now, he isn't the size of Ronnie, and many argue that his physique leans more toward aesthetics than freak factor. But what makes Hunter interesting in this conversation is his relentless drive to carve his own legacy. Ronnie didn't just want to compete, he wanted to be the best of all time. Hunter has that same fire. The question is whether Hunter can break through in an era dominated by mass monsters like Walker and Lunsford. If he adds more size without losing his shape, he could emerge as a real contender for the throne. Samson Dauda, the Nigerian lion. One of the fastest rising stars in bodybuilding today is Samson Dauda, nicknamed the Nigerian lion. His combination of massive size, crazy aesthetics, and stage presence makes him a fan favorite. What's exciting about Samson is his balance. Ronnie was known for his insane size, but people sometimes forget how symmetrical and balanced he was in his early years. Samson has that same appeal, freaky big but still pleasing to the eye. He's not quite at Coleman's level yet, but his potential is undeniable. With every competition, Samson improves, and fans can't help but wonder if he's on the verge of something historic. The young wildcards. Just as Neymar's successor might come from a 17-year-old in Brazil, Ronnie's successor might be training right now in a small gym, unknown to the world. Bodybuilding is a sport of surprises. Ronnie himself wasn't supposed to be the greatest. He was a police officer who only started bodybuilding because he got a free gym membership. That's why we can't count out the next wave of teenage bodybuilders rising through the amateur ranks. Social media has given us glimpses of young freaks with mind-blowing genetics who could be the next face of the sport. Maybe the true next Ronnie Coleman hasn't even stepped on a pro stage yet. Ronnie Coleman is a once-in-a-lifetime athlete. His combination of size, strength, charisma, and dominance may never be matched. But bodybuilding is always evolving, and new monsters rise every decade. Big Ramy gave us glimpses of Ronnie's mass. Heath carried the sport with his dominance. Nick Walker is looking like the closest in terms of mentality and grind. Derek Lunsford might have the genetics to shock the world. Samson Dauda and Hunter Labrada are knocking on the door. And somewhere out there, maybe training in silence, is the real heir to Ronnie Coleman's throne. So the big question is, who do you think will be the next Ronnie Coleman? Drop your answer in the comments below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive, and don't forget to subscribe to Celebrity of Future, where we bring you the future legends of sports, fitness, and entertainment before anyone else.